Right, good evening, afternoon, morning, whatever you time it is, wherever you're watching it. It's evening time for us. But WWE Backlash is this weekend from Tampa, Florida, and we're going to have a little preview of a what I was just calling off camera a Triple H special, a 5 match card, which if you remember the run, I think it was 2024, and he had these like there was like 5 or 6 paper PLEs in a row. It felt like we're just here, every single match here, and it was this 5 match format that he seemed to love. I think it was from his NXT days, maybe.
Maybe.
But they do it. They give each match the time, and I have to say again, we're saying off camera, but every single one of these matches, I think it looks potentially great on paper, and I think it's been really well built up. Only one is a rematch from WrestleMania, which is crazy because obviously in the old days of Backlash, like half the card was just a rematch. It was just basically the same thing, wasn't it? Generally, in terms of that, and we've got a thing. And for those that are watching in America, the first 2 matches are free, so they're doing the ESPN2 thing again. So they've already said they're opening with Seth Rollins and Bron Breakker, and let's start with that, Kez. How you found? Obviously, Seth got beaten. He got the most ridiculous spear, which we could see with our own eyes off the top of the stage from Vegas, all across the map. I mean, Bron Breakker is ridiculously fast as well. I know, we know that, but seeing that was just like insane.
I mean, I just like we were talking in another video I have about how people committing to the gimmick. This man commits like no one else I've seen. That wasn't a shallow ramp. He absolutely went full gut down it. I thought at one point he was going to pancake it straight and slide, but he got there. He hit the spear. Fair play to Seth as well, because mate, that's going to hurt. I don't care who you are. There's no
Did
way.
you see he got black eye from his trailing foot? Did you see?
No.
So Seth said he so if you look how he took the spear, he took it and his leg came over. Obviously, at that speed, ridiculous, as you've just said. I think it's the bottom of his foot or his knee. I think it's the bottom of his Bron Breakker's foot. Obviously at that speed, it doesn't matter how soft your shoes or how whatever it is, you're getting a thing. So yeah, Seth had a black eye for like a week or 2 weeks after WrestleMania. From not from the actual spear, but from the what would you friendly fire? It's not friendly fire. It's like in the residue of the ridiculousness of the spear. But I like what they did. I really like their promo that they did. Was it not this week or the week before on Raw?
Really?
I thought that was really, really good. Obviously, Seth's changed his gimmick slightly, hasn't he? Because he's just in black now. He's not dressed as ridiculous as he was, and it's got. And I really like this loner thing that they're doing. As on like he's turned his back on everyone in the changing room now. No one's gonna. If they're coming to save him, they're not coming to save him. They're coming to do that. I like that. I think that's good, and that's right. It's good kayfabe storytelling, isn't it? In terms of that, obviously, Braun Breaker's really hot. It's got the Heyman factor in it as well. I do. Yeah, I do. I think this is well built. I think this is going to be a banger in terms of.
Going to be a banger. Not only that, I don't think it's a conclusion. I think we're going to see this run for a bit longer. My
Yeah,
gut tells me if it keeps being hot, they'll run it till SummerSlam, and there's so many ways it could go. I'll be happy with that.
yeah,
I actually hope it's not a clean match. I actually hope there is shenanigans from
yeah,
at least one side, if not both. To be honest,
yeah,
and obviously, I think, as you said, I think it's time for Bron Breakker to try and go up a level. So I hope,
yeah,
and we know Seth will, like, just put him over eventually. But yeah,
yeah,
this could. I mean, we've said it many a times the last few months, the last few years. This could steal the show, like
yeah,
really good.
yeah. And I completely agree. It won't be the one and only match. It's not. There's no need for it to be the one and only match. They've got a good thing. They obviously. Well, it looks like they could have had it at WrestleMania now. Maybe it would have been a last minute thing because Braun Breakker was clearly cleared enough to do that ridiculous spear. But maybe it was just two things, and then they had nothing to do with Gunther. And actually, we ended up getting a bonus, and it was one of the best matches of the weekend with Seth and Gunther. And obviously, now that Lesnar's retired, this Heyman favor Gunther thing. Let's be honest, there's something. Obviously, now Gunther's attacked Cody, which I just didn't see coming. I mean, it's the obvious rival for Cody, but it's a great rival, and that's Clash in Italy, I assume main event is Cody versus Gunther, which is fantastic, isn't it? And we should try and watch that together because it'll be on at like a normal time as well because it'll be on in Italy with it. So we should. But yeah, I think it's a good, and again, the cynical side of that's a good match to put out on ESPN2. Like, in terms of like Brock and Oba, and and that it's not as huge as that, but it's a thing. And I think, yeah, you're right. This is a 3 match series really. One You know, you go 1-1 each, and then maybe Bron takes the decisive one, doesn't he? You know, in terms of that. But I actually think Seth could do with a win, like for the first match, because it doesn't harm Bron Breakker that much. It doesn't, you know, and maybe there is shenanigans and that sort of stuff. Yeah, we'll see. Obviously, Seth had that fake injury, then the real injury, and he hasn't wrestled that many matches. He obviously won the title by cashing it in, as I know because I was there, and that. But I'm just saying, in terms of like winning a one-on-one match, it feels like a while since he's won a one-on-one match. So I don't. Again, it doesn't. I don't think it harms Bron Breakker if he does that. But again, we don't know. And again, like I always say on this channel, we don't know. There's no obvious outcome here, is there? And in terms of in terms of that. So, and the other match we talked in our last video when we talked about the releases and about committing, forgive me, is Trick Williams versus the Gingerbread Man, Sami Zayn. And I'm just going to say this there. I know it's divided the internet for what I've seen of comments about the Gingerbread Man dying on SmackDown, and to me, that is peak WWE. That is like the best entertainment I've seen. And I have to say, the person who sold it the most wasn't Trick, wasn't Sam. It was Joe Tess on commentary. He was like, and when the graphic came up, and him and Wade Barrett did such a good job of this. And now you've got a funeral for the Gingerbread Man this week on SmackDown. It's the thing I'm looking forward to most on SmackDown this week. But they've committed to it. And Trick's face backstage when he came out of the dressing room and he was like, yeah, no, he hasn't made it and stuff like that. But Sami, I love this slow turn that they've done with Sami. It's been he's obviously a pro, isn't he, to the thing. But yeah, and they deserve to go again. I think, you know, they did a great job in the build for us. They've kept it interesting now. People love Trick and they hate Sami. It's you know, I think it makes sense. I can't see Sami Zayn winning, but I think this makes sense, and they deserve another match.
Definitely, absolutely. I'd agree with that. I didn't realize it was split on the internet because I tried to avoid stuff. I haven't seen stuff yet, and
Yeah,
I was just cracking up, mate. I was just absolutely.
yeah,
I just saw
it's amazing, isn't it? It's peak. Yeah, I honestly,
even Sammy's little low blow to the gingerbread man, just genius, man. Absolutely.
it is. It's so good. I just like they've and I think this is credit to credit to all of them, but Trick's was the newer one, right? He's the less experienced one, and Sami, as we know, will commit to any gimmick. You give him anything, you give him the shittest stuff in the world, or the best stuff in the world. He made the best storyline in wrestling history even better when he was in the Bloodline. Yeah, you know what I mean. He is so good with working with whatever and doing it. And he's like committed to this fully to this slow heel turn, hasn't he? Which you know why people boo me and and that sort of stuff and. Well, now you kill the gingerbread man. You know, you've done it now, haven't you? But yeah, I like when they cut to the commentary and they were like 2026 to 2026, the gingerbread man. I was like, that's so good. It's like, this is what I'm saying. And obviously for me, you and for Dave, obviously gingerbread was just the joke of the holiday, and everything we kept having was ginger snap, ginger ale, ginger beer, ginger this. But yeah, and then they're like, yeah, this week is the funeral. Trick Williams is going to host the funeral of the Gingerbread Man, probably with Little Yachty, who is now clearly a full-time WWE manager. Fair play to him. I mean, to be fair, he deserves it for just selling that haluva kick when he sold that haluva kick the way he did. So yeah, no, I think I'm looking forward to this match. I think their match was quite short at WrestleMania. Maybe they'll go a bit longer. It was short, but then a lot of the matches I think were short in hindsight. Now you look back and WrestleMania, but I think they do. So those are the two matches on that. We've got Danhausen, who is unbelievable, and again, three people who commit to their gimmick: Danhausen, The Miz, and Kit Wilson. Again, it's a superb example. I mean, The Miz always, and now he's like an old pro, isn't he? But helping out Kit Wilson and Danhausen in terms of the stuff. And Danhausen has gone from like no pop on his debut to like, I mean, we saw the blimp, didn't we? How many Danhausen masks and T-shirts did we see in Vegas? And that was 3 weeks ago. So yeah,
Absolutely, man. I mean, again, we've been talking about it in this video, last video, just committing to everything. I mean, they got a WrestleMania moment. They got a WrestleMania skit because the Wrangler got so hot. Like, it clearly wasn't planned. They were like, we'll give you 5 minutes for Cena, like, do your best kind of thing. And that was hilarious as well. But yeah.
with the little Danhausens and taking the Miz away and everything. Yeah, it's like they've got things. So I think, again, this has been built, and this has been built pre-WrestleMania, really, hasn't it? Pre-WrestleMania, the whole Kit Wilson, Miz, Danhausen stuff, and even like on SmackDown last week, such old school like crowd control of the Miz and shaking his hand and shaking his, and doing that sort of stuff. And I haven't read any spoilers, so I have no idea who this mystery partner is.
No, I
But
don't want to know. I want to find out.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. And much like you, I have stayed off the spoiler talk and all that. It's just I just generally either it's our wrestling WhatsApp group, which there's quite a lot of vocal stuff in there about why this is rubbish or whatever, or you just see like the gingerbread stuff with the comments and whatever. But instead, I think Danhausen, the Miz, Kit Wilson have done an excellent. They deserve a PLE match, don't they? In terms of
I mean, I've said this before. I've probably said this before. I can't even remember. Like, there's always for me room for comedic value, especially in the mid card, and it's a good way of testing out someone. Here we are. Here's something a bit rubbish. Make it funny. Let's see what you got.
Yeah.
I mean, Santino was one of my favourites. Do you remember that pop when he was down to the final two in his either Elimination Chamber or Royal Rumble? Like,
Royal Rumble was it? It was Royal Rumble, wasn't it? Yeah.
People were losing it because he had a chance, and stuff like that. I just think it's valuable, because you got to entertain a broad group of people. If you look back at the Attitude Era, the top of the card was very good. I'm not sure the middle of the card was that good.
You said this. You said this when we were in Vegas. I think it's a really good point of the nostalgic look back on the Attitude Era, and everything was amazing and all that. Like you said, it was a unique time of having Stone Cold and The Rock and Triple H and all of those people, and in terms of the number of stars. Which I would argue we've got that now, in terms of that. But actually, in terms of, you're right, some of the dross that was in there. But the good stuff was the comedic stuff on Raw. If you think of the stuff that got over or SmackDown at the time, in terms of some of the stuff. But there was a lot of crap as well. So, there is a whole bit of doing this. And I think, like you said, absolute space. And I watch with Talia. She doesn't watch every Raw, every SmackDown, but she always watches PLA. And you look at, I always look. I'm lucky that I get the bonus of looking for a 10-year-old girl's eyes and watching. And she's watched wrestling because she can remember watching TV, so she's got a decent amount of experience watching it. But I see the sort of thing that I'm paying less attention to, she'll pay more attention to, or she'll see this sort of stuff, or she loved it. But I was in Madison Square Garden, wasn't I, for Raw. And he came out in a commercial break, Danhausen, and it went. Madison Square Garden, the mecca of wrestling, went absolutely nuts for this man. And then we saw it in merchandise. And again, he only started with like backstage. He had 30 seconds backstage, then he had a minute backstage, and then 2 minutes backstage, and then it just got over and over and over. And now he's probably going to be selling every single one of their products and advertising on things. Absolutely deserving. And then I think the match, obviously, we talked in our previous video about Kairi Sane getting released. I still think the IYO SKY have now and Asuka have done a brilliant job in the couple of bits that they've had to build this up. It's been built up for years, and I think this is a match so many people want to see. And I really hope it's not the only match between them, but we'll see. Much like the just because I just want to see them wrestle, and they've got to a place where Asuka's a great heel, IYO SKY's a great babyface as well, because you can always get these dream matches, but you have to be in the right. Audience have to be there as well, right? So audience have to be with it and want IYO SKY, which they love IYO SKY, and they have to hate Asuka. And even just her misting her on Raw this week was great, in that. Yeah.
No.
So I think this. You talked about Seth and Bron stealing the show. This on paper it could steal any show, couldn't it? And two of the best. Not the best. I always say the best Japanese female wrestlers, just the best, two of the best female wrestlers. So
no, you're right. That promo on SmackDown was phenomenal. Just the fact, just the little things like that, she pulls her clothes and then misses her. I just thought, classic, absolute classic. And I'm with you. I hope this is the beginning. I hope it's a little bit of a reset. So Kairi's moved on. Obviously, we're sad about that, but maybe Asuka gets another little. Someone else, another little apprentice, and they carry on the story in that way. You've torn between IYO, the new young blood, and the old senpai kind of thing.
Yeah. I love that. Even the senpai stuff is always great. I think it's really, and it's true as well, because she was the one who is she is the role model for bringing a Japanese wrestler into W. And as much as Goldberg didn't like the fact that she had a longer streak than him, he did. But there's I my hope for this is it's not just one match. I think I want it to be more And I said this on the other video. I don't think it's likely. But again, it wouldn't be entirely out of the realms of possibility that maybe in a few months' time, if this was to go on and Kyrie's done a few months in Japan or done at a break or whatever, and I just don't, and maybe I'm just wishful. I just don't imagine she's gone on bad terms. Is what I would say. And you know, if I don't know, they ended up having a rubber match at SummerSlam and Kyrie appeared, the pop would be humongous. Like it would be huge. It would be a massive thing. So let's see what happens with that. But again, for me, it's hard to say the main event is not the main event you're most looking forward to. But IYO and Asuka, I've wanted it for ages. I can't wait for this match. In terms of this, and then we get to the main event. Roman. I'll be honest. Firstly, I was surprised that Jacob Fatu was going to be his first opponent. I thought they would have saved that, but good. I'm glad they haven't. Like when he came out on the Raw after WrestleMania, I wasn't expecting him to be the one to drop. I don't know who I was expecting, but I just thought they would save that for later. But I said this in a TikTok video a couple of mornings ago after Raw. When they bring stuff from the folklore and the Tongan Death Group, and they, and Haku has handed it down, and I love that shit. Like I love that shit because I'm old and I remember Haku. Obviously, that family is ridiculous and what they do, but there is some genuine realness to handing down moves, and you can't do this and you can't do some. We know it because we know how crazy that, and we know how crazy Haku is. So there is this whole thing, and I love. I mean, Roman's selling of it, I have to say, is like. That's nepotism. That's the nepotism. How well he sells for his family. Forget the other stuff. The nepotism is Roman Reigns selling for his family is the nepotism. Forget all the other nepotism we're talking about in WWE or whatever. That's the real nepotism there because he's the way he sold the Tongan Death Group and the stuff was brilliant. But I don't. There's loads of strings to this, isn't it? With the Usos, with Solo, with the thing. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
Oh, I'm so excited about not necessarily this match. Like I'm excited about the match, but this feels like the beginning, doesn't it? This feels like because you said all the strings and they pulled Solo in and they pulled the Usos in, and Solo's now just in a 2-man thing, and you got Tama kind of roving about, and then you had like Jacob talk to like Royce Keys, didn't you? So Jacob might have a boy in his corner now, and we go back 10 years, all that crap, and I'm like, we've seen what these people could cook when they're given time to build. It led to was we both believe the greatest moment in wrestling, and the greatest run in wrestling, the greatest storyline in wrestling. And we've got the good versions of people back. You got Jimmy on the mic. You've got Angry Jay. Angry
Jay is great, isn't he? Yeah.
So good. He's my favorite.
And I know people way over criticize Jay for a period, isn't it? It's just a classic of someone gets super over, then people get jealous or people get envious or whatever. But even Jay's looks when he's walking backstage with Jimmy, and even but he has been angry for a while. And you look back at the thing, he almost split with Jimmy, didn't he? There was that whole stuff and all that. And again, I don't believe these things happen by accident, not in the bloodline, right? These are, and maybe right at the beginning of Roman Reigns, like the first bloodline stuff, some of that just fell into place nicely, and then they realized what they were building, and then they took it slow, didn't they? And then they exaggerate out. Cody didn't win the first time. Everything was perfect. Like the whole stuff. And I think, like you said, when you've got these are the people that are creating the storyline in terms of what you've got there, in terms of, like you said, Jimmy on the mic, Jay being angry, just angry man, and and what does that lead to? Who does he snap? What does he turn on? In that sort of stuff. Solo bringing brought back into, which I really like. And again, we mentioned in the releases video about, I think Solo's better now without this MFT nonsense, and just having maybe just this big tall guy next to him, which is almost his Solo, right? From those, and that's fine. I think Tolo Tonga can serve a role there, but I like the fact that they're bringing Solo back into it because, and then you get Solo, who's obviously grown and evolved. Jay, who's had a solo run. Jimmy, who hasn't had a solo run. Jacob Fatu, who wants it all. And I love the fact that he's even talking about, I want the private jet, I want the stuff, and I want to feed my. And we know it's true, isn't it? Like 100 kids or whatever he's got, and that sort of stuff. And and then bringing out the Tongan Death Grip, and then doing it again, putting him through the table. I don't know, shenanigans in this match. I mean, it's not going to end in a DQ or count. Someone's going to win, but Robert's going to lose the title, is he? After 3 weeks, is he? But
I don't think he'll lose the title. I mean, maybe. I mean, they could do the whole well, they used to do it in the Attitude Era, stick it on time for a month and then flip. But that feels very unlikely. But whatever happens, you feel like this is the beginning, don't you? You feel like,
Yeah,
I mean, maybe Solo
2.0.
comes out and costs Jacob, and they build
Yeah,
through that for a little bit, and then because I think they announced today Roman is going to be at Clash, so maybe like part
okay.
two of this saga carries on that. Because you can almost, because they've basically got a three-way Bloodline Civil War now, haven't they? Because
Yeah,
Solo
yeah,
wants it, Roman wants it, Jacob wants it. Suddenly, like the options become like
yeah,
mighty more, and I
yeah,
love that. I love the fact that we don't know where this is going. I wouldn't be
yeah,
surprised if like, they could do a whole thing where Solo keeps losing, so he tries to get Heyman and ends up with his own version of a wise man, or something like that. Like
yeah,
there's so many ways you can take it, and I think I think this will be a Roman win, but not a clean win. They'll slightly push
yeah,
Jacob, would be my guess.
yeah. But again, and just from a pure match point of view, I think it looks great. Like Jacob's obviously great, isn't he? And we've talked about Roman's selling for Jacob for his fab for just selling in general. He's just brilliant, isn't he? But I think there's a whole bit there in terms of Roman's going to get rattled in this match, and he's going to look. Not many people rattle Roman Reigns in the ring, do they? Like that. That's the story. I can see that being written into this match, which then probably does lead to a rematch, maybe with a stipulation or something at Clash or something like that, which gives him an avatar defense against Jacob Buff. I think I don't. This storyline's not finished on Saturday night, is it? This thing, and like you said, it does feel like the seeds are being planted for Bloodline 2.0, whatever you want to call it, Bloodline 2. And I think you've said it several times, and I think I've said it in terms of how many years he's got. This might be Roman's last big one,
Yeah.
right? So if you're not enjoying this, or you're bored of it, or whatever, I would. This is going to sound like an old man's advice to people. Enjoy this because I don't think you said it, didn't you? Like he may come back for matches like at WrestleMania 44 or 45, and because obviously he's in amazing shape, and touch wood, all his leukemia stuff. So okay, but because of that as well, he's not going to go forever, right? So there is that. He's obviously in Street Fighter. There is that. He's got the biggest contract in WWE. I don't think there's a financial situation there. In terms of a need, unlike Jacob Fatu, who needs the money and needs the thing and needs the thing. But I think so. I don't, from a purely like a longer term storyline. If this is the bloodline, wait, not if this is the Bloodline 2.0 storyline, I would people strap in, enjoy every appearance that Roman Reigns makes on Raw. Every back, I've said the backstage bit of Roman and Seth, unbelievable. Like that for me is like goosebumps. Like it's so simple, isn't it? But you could just do that, and then that's the power of WWE. Like as in, you've got a 12-year-old storyline. And that's a WrestleMania match one day, and that's like because they have an adult match on WrestleMania every day. And I think you just have to get Seth to say you're in my way, and then walk past him. And the pop was ridiculous. Of course, it's Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, and and then you've got the Seth factor. So you've got the Seth, in this Bloodline 2.0 storyline of Seth and the Shield and whatever. So you've got, you know, you don't even need Dwayne next year at WrestleMania in Saudi, to make this into something. But then there is that possibility of,
Yeah.
of something, although he has lost like 100 pounds and now he goes to like the Met Gala and stuff like that. So I'm not sure he's appearing anytime soon in WWE. But I don't. Yeah, I like you. I'm intrigued to see what happens. There's also John Cena is going to appear and make some history-breaking news. But I just assume it's something to do with this WWE fan club or something. But
Probably.
unless they're going to announce the location for WrestleMania or something for 44,
That could be good. That could
yeah,
be good.
just please be a place we want to go as well.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what he says. Like,
Yeah, it said it'll change the experience for WWE superstars and fans, which I think it's Club WWE. But then they've already announced it and they've already had an advert for it, so I don't. That does feel like a big thing for John Cena just to appear just to talk about Club WWE. And he's not going to like sit there and read the terms and conditions out in the middle of the ring, is he? So maybe there is something else in something. But yeah, no, I think it's a solid card. And again, like you've got the power here with WWE where CM Punk hasn't appeared now for the last 3 weeks. He appeared in Raw after WrestleMania, but CM Punk will be back in the fold, I assume, after Backlash, maybe after Clash or whatever. Probably act like around Clash. So they've been able to keep Randy Orton off TV, CM Punk off TV. You've got, Gunther was off TV until he attacked Cody, and now that's going to I'm assuming, build for Clash. I think he's got a nice little. I'm not feeling the post WrestleMania a lot. I am in my own life because we're not in Vegas anymore. But in wrestling terms, I'm not feeling the post WrestleMania lull, which can I think they've done it pretty well in the last few years to mitigate that, haven't they? They put Backlash abroad, didn't they, a few years, and I think that helped massively. And this one's obviously in Roman Reigns' hometown, isn't it? Home state.
Yeah.
But I think they've got a few things bubbling nicely to keep the fans intrigued for the next few months. They've got a 2-night SummerSlam without Brock now in Minneapolis to sell. So that needs to be big, and then we'll see where the rest of it goes. But any last thoughts, Kez, on Backlash or this weekend? Or
I'd say what you said, man. Enjoy the ride. I just think we're in good times. We've lived through. We saw what happened when Dwayne and Steve left quickly. It was,
yeah,
and there was a lot of talented people still there, but we had a wrestling winter that lasted a while.
yeah.
So enjoy the
It was a long winter, man.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was a
Game
long
of Thrones
winter.
winter, wasn't it? It was like it was. And I think we mentioned the attitude era. I think you look at CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, just off the top of my head, right? As the level of, I know we mentioned Seth and Randy and like others, and and Rhea. You say about Rhea, the pop that Rhea gets is just, she's in that second category, isn't she? With and Andrew Roman Reigns is in his own category, and then in that second CM Punk, she's there. So you look at that, and then you look at the toxic attraction that have come through. You look at obviously Obafemi. Even Obafemi hasn't even got a match at this thing. And have you seen his match against Otis on Raw?
Yeah, good match.
Yeah, Otis was unbelievable. I mean, Otis did an unbelievable job of. It looked amazing, didn't it? You just need. And I said in my video, he reminds me of Goldberg, but the good Gold, like the Goldberg that first came through, and got that. I mean, Goldberg, everyone's got an opinion on Goldberg now, and he doesn't help himself. But that Goldberg that came through was unreal, like in terms of crowd heat and everything. And it was a couple of moves, spear, jackhammer, when he could actually do it. And that's all he had to do. And Obafemi, he's probably got a bit more to him than Goldberg. He's got a bit more to him, in terms of the stuff. But they're doing it right, so you've got Obafemi to mix in there. But I think you've got a really good, strong summer ahead. I think for WWE, if it's booked right, it's done. This headlined probably by this Bloodline storyline and whatever that takes us to over the next few months in terms of that. But I think it's like you said, I think as I always enjoy the ride. I feel like it's going to be a good one. Backlash. I've got high hopes for Backlash in terms of this 5-card format. I think it's going to be good. I'll be watching on Sunday, so if there is loads of ads, apparently there was loads of ads, but obviously we were at WrestleMania, so we didn't realise there was loads of ads. So, I mean, we were grateful that we could go to the toilet and get a snack. I mean, that's generally the generally thing. I mean, it didn't, and this is something to say if you're still watching this video, is that the in stadium experience was probably quite different to watching it live and having to sit through all those ads. Obviously, again, if we're watching in the UK, we probably wouldn't have been watching it live, so you could just skip the ads, which is what I'll be doing on Sunday morning, probably when I watch with Talia and watch it on Netflix. But thank you for watching, as always, everyone. And please, predictions. What do you think is going to happen? What match are you most looking forward to? Do you feel there's a good summer ahead for WWE? What are you concerned about? Where is this Bloodline storyline going? All of those questions, comments, and more. And I'm sure we will catch up again for a review of Backlash after Sunday.